Good afternoon, all. A very warm welcome to all the attendees of this session. And it's now time to introduce the speakers of the day. I'll start with Professor Gaurav Pushkarna, Deputy Dean, School of Computer Science and Engineering, Lovely Professional University, having an experience of 18 years and above in his field. He's an eloquent orator as well. He has been guiding and helping students in choosing a career suitable to their interest. He has always been a joy to interact with. I welcome you, sir. We have with us Mr. Brijesh Kohli, Director and Head of Education Programs at Xavier Academy. He is enabling collaborative learning, fostering IT skills development, and industry-ready talent through strategic partnership. We have with us Mr. Nurain, Senior Consultant, Xavier Academy. He is an AWS certified solutions architect with 4+ years of experience in designing and developing cloud native systems and architectures. We also have with us Mr. Pankaj Vij, Head Departments of Tie-ups, Division of Admissions, Lovely Professional University. Holds a master degree in management and keen area of interest in training and development. Having 19+ years of experience, and he'll be talking about admissions and scholarship. And it's now over to Professor Gaurav Pushkarna for the content of the day. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Professor Rishi. I hope I'm audible. Yes, clear?
Perfect.
All right. So good evening, everybody. So the agenda of the today is to enlighten you on DevOps automation, which is an upcoming field. And we as a university, and we are very hyper in introducing new technologies, and we have tied up with Xavier for offering a specialized BTech program, and we'll be introducing a lot of courses which will be focused on DevOps automation, AWS, cloud computing, and integrating all the technologies together. So we have with us Mr. Nurain, who would be highlighting this technology prospects. That would be the first part. Then we'll be talking to Mr. Brijesh Kohli, who will be talking about Xavier, how they are doing, and what's up in the market next. And then finally, I'll be talking about the scheme, the course scheme that we have designed for you, the courses which have been embedded, over a period of 4 years. And then, Mr. Pankaj will interact with you for telling you about fees, scholarships, eligibility of the program. So I'll hand over this session to Mr. Nurain for further proceedings. Sir, please.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure. Thank you for having me here. And one sec, let me just quickly share my screen, and you can let me know once it's visible.
It's visible, sir. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So exploring DevOps, right? So as they said, my name is Nuri. At Xavier, I'm setting up and kind of heading the Kubernetes practice, which is one of the key DevOps tools which Xavier is focusing on. But for you guys, I'm just your tech bud, right? That's what I try to be. Okay. So you can just call me your tech bud, as it is. My name is pretty difficult to pronounce. So before we get into things, right? If you have any questions, just type it down. We'll probably try to take it towards the end of the seminar, or probably at the end of my presentation. But do put in your questions. I would love to answer them if they're directed towards me. Okay, so now let's start, right? So I always love to start with the real world, right? Because theory is theory, but let's just see, what is happening in the industry today. Okay, and obviously let's start with the good stuff. Let's start with Iron Man. Okay, I want to tell you a little story about Facebook. So did you guys know that there are actually 10,000 versions of Facebook out there, right? And I'm not talking about the Facebook clones, okay? I'm literally saying that there are like 10,000 copies of official variations of Facebook there. So The Facebook which you see is probably different from the one your friend sees, right? And this is by design. It's not an accident. Nobody wants to maintain 10,000 versions. See, the thing is, Facebook is a social network, right? We all know that. For them, our engagement matters the most, and they really need to figure out a way to optimize it. And the way they do it is by running 10,000 tests. So they actually, change little things like, changing the button, changing how the notification comes. Like what minor change would increase your engagement on the platform, right? And they're aggregating all this information. They're kind of like, spying on us. Okay, wait, I should rephrase that. They're gathering data from us. They're gathering user data from us, right? And what they're trying to do is that, they're trying to make a mental model, or should I say some kind of a model wherein they can boost user engagement. And having 10,000 versions is key to their growth. So basically making those little changes, or should I say making changes, releasing those tiny new features is key to Facebook's success. They are continuously deploying new versions. The key word here is continuously deploying. Yaar ye ratta maar do. If there's anything which you take away from this, is that Facebook is continuously deploying. Not just Facebook, every app in the market today is continuously deploying. For example, like a few years back, the App Store, right, had really irritated us a lot. Like there were new downloads like every day. And there's a big reason for it. They're constantly shipping out these new features because now change is a growth strategy. Okay. So this is one thing. You have companies like Facebook, which are constantly driving change, constantly driving innovations, and most importantly, deploying it to us so that, we can leverage that. But let's look at the other side of the story, right? Let's look at the bad things. Let's look at the cons. DC. Okay, I'm not trying to start Marvel versus DC wars. What I'm just trying to say is that Marvel is better than DC. Okay? But yeah, let's look at the things which do not go well. So earlier in December, like in 2020 of December, Google went down for an hour. And you might have even noticed it around 4 to 5 p.m. Google YouTube just shut down, and a lot of other apps which were using certain Google services went down as well. Right now, 1 hour doesn't seem that big, right? For a developer for who's working, 1 hour of Google going down is let's take a break, right? It's like a coffee break for us. Let's say that 1 hour had become a day. Okay, that would become concerning because the entire day there would be no work happening. Let's say the 1 hour became a week of no Google. I would lose my job. That's not good, right? And I mean, the downtime which is measured in today's industry is in milliseconds. For example, just a few milliseconds of downtime for a company like Amazon costs them millions of dollars. This is something which the official spokesperson of Amazon has said himself. So imagine the amount of money which has to, be pumped into just, make sure that your applications are up and running. See, but the thing is, Google went down because they tried to introduce some change. They tried to introduce some change which even Facebook and the other guys are doing. But something definitely went wrong, right? Something went wrong. There was some bug somewhere which caused the entire system to go down. And that's bringing me to my next point. Like change is risky, right? Change is risky. So now you see where I'm going with this. On one side, we are saying that there is a fundamental requirement to continuously deploy new versions. People need to do that to keep moving forward. But on the other hand, these new changes need to be reliable. And these are forces acting in the opposite direction. They don't go well together, right? And this is the problem the technology industry is moving today. Imagine technology is one of the fastest moving industries on the planet right now, right? And the software which drives this, speed itself is confused on how we can make this reliable. Because if your software which powers the industry is not reliable, nothing works. So no matter how great your AI model is, no matter how great your IoT devices are, If the software which is running cannot be deployed reliably, what's the point of anything? And this is a big problem. This is a huge problem, which all the IT giants, even the smaller companies, even startups, are facing and they are trying to solve, right? And obviously, there is one single practice to the rescue. Surprise, surprise, DevOps, right? And DevOps is practically just trying to do these things, right? I mean, obviously, there's more to it, but fundamentally, the goal of DevOps is to drive new features faster, right? We need to stay true to the promise of the technology industry of moving fast, right? But at the same time, we need to deliver these new features reliably, okay? Those two opposite goals, trying to unite them somehow, okay? And we'll get into more technical details just in a little while. But try to freeze this, okay? As I said, there are more aspects to this, but these two are the bedrocks. These two are the core pillars of DevOps. And the way we do is by increasing team and processes efficiency, okay? Just bear this in mind. We're gonna take a step back now. We're gonna dive into a little bit of theory. Might be a little boring, but it's important for you to understand this, okay? So whenever you're deploying software, whenever we are writing some software, there are some fundamental stages we need to follow. The first step is obviously, we understand what we need to do and we write some code. Okay? Once we write some code, we need to go ahead and get it tested. Testing is an important phase. We cannot keep that aside. Once we know that things are testing and working well, the tests are passing, we can now say that we want to deploy it. We want to make it live for other people to use, right? And the journey doesn't end there. We also need to monitor the app to make sure that things are up and running, right? And this is a loop. So when we say that technology moves fast, the software needs to be continuously deployed, what they are actually saying is this entire loop of coding, testing, deploying it, and then monitoring, getting feedback, coding again. This loop needs to be made faster. And when they say things need to be reliable, they're saying this loop should not break. This loop should not fail, right? So that's what we actually mean, technically speaking, when we say we want to go faster and we want to go reliable. It's all about shortening this loop and making it as consistent and reliable as possible, okay? But again, there were two sides of DevOps, right? There's Dev and Ops. Developers mostly take care of this code and testing aspect. So obviously they write code, right? I mean, who else would write it? So they are the guys who write some code. They also write some tests, to just make sure that things work properly. And they're responsible for this. And I think you see what the devs are responsible for. They are responsible for delivering new features. Or should I say they are responsible for writing and implementing new features. So they are the guys who want the change, right? When we say we want to go faster, it's these guys who need to write the code faster. On the other hand, the last two blocks are taken care of by the operations, right? The operations team or the ops teams. These are the guys who take the code written by the developers, make it live, and make sure it's up and running. These guys hate change. Change for them is new work. For them, as long as the thing is running, just keep it running, right? So these are the guys responsible for the reliability. They are the guys responsible for keeping things up and running. And you see what's happening here. Two different teams working on two different sets of goals. And that's where the problem is. So now we said the devs want change, the ops want reliability. There are two separate teams with two separate goals, which has created this great mythical wall of sadness, which people claim to be the root cause of all the problem, right? I mean, this wall is so mythical, so huge in the IT industry that I'm pretty sure people can see it from the International Space Station, right? It's that huge. It's like these guys just can't come together, right? That's the problem. That's what we're facing today, right? But we need to get rid of this. We need to get rid of this wall. And that's, even if you Google, something on DevOps, you'll see this metaphor. You'll see this wall and people trying to get rid of it. But it's not as simple as just, make dev and ops work together. It's not going to work that way. We're going to need a new process. We're going to need we have to do something different in order to make all of this work. So this was the theory aspect. Let's take an example. We are engineers at the end of the day. We build stuff. Okay, we break things more than build, but let's focus on the building part for now, okay? So we're going to build something together. We'll try to go through this entire life cycle together in really quick. And we'll also see how, the dev and ops can work together to solve the problem which we were facing. So I always wanted when I was in college that, I wish I had online attendance and assignments. My hands still pain writing 10, 20 different pages of assignments every week. Okay, it's still numb somewhere. I'm not sure if you can see it. So let's say we want to build this online attendance system, right, for a college. You don't have an option. You have to build this for me. So what do? Like I said, we know we need to build an app which, does online attendance. We code. We get into our hackathon modes. We get into writing code. We stay awake all night, and we get it done. Right? We're pretty good at it. We do get it done. So once the coding part is done, we take it to the next step, which is getting it tested. So in our case, let's say, we hand it over to the professors who actually need to be using this app to test it. Now, it's not going to be very straightforward. Maybe there are some changes. It can go back and forth. They might say that, hey, this is not working. Maybe that is not working. It might come back to us. We might write some code again. We'll give it back to them. But eventually, all the tests will pause, and it will be okay to, go to the next stage, which is making it live for our university. Make sense? So what we've just done is we go ahead and we make our software live for the entire university, because till now, till the coding and testing phases, it was just with us, right? But now we want to give it to everyone. But like I said, just making things live isn't the end, right? You need to make sure that it's up and running. But what happens is, let's say in this university, we deployed our live attendance tracking system. And after a few months, we noticed something funny happening. We noticed that the professors start complaining that all the students are getting 100% attendance. Okay? It seems like there was some loophole in the system which the students have managed to exploit and hack into to get 100% attendance. Now, half of you have a huge smile on your faces. But remember, we are the people writing code here. And having loopholes like this means we do not get paid. And I, for one, want to get paid. So this is not acceptable for us. But now if you go back and you think about why this happened, because we followed all the processes, right? We got it tested, we did everything we potentially could. So why is this problem happening? The reason is this cute little guy here, this cute face, which doesn't let us sleep at nights. This is the guy who's taken so many weekends away from him. But the relationship with developers and bugs is very weird, Developers and bugs just cannot stay without each other. Wherever there are developers writing code, there ought to be bugs. And whenever there is a bug, you bet there's going to be a developer around somewhere. We need to figure out a way in which we can live with bugs, because it's not that bugs are going to disappear completely. We need to live with them. We need to live with bugs. And when I say we need to live with bugs, I mean we need to squash them to death. Okay, that got a bit dark. But you know what I mean, at least, right? We need to do something around it. So let's look at the process again, right? We said we want to write some code. Then we said, we will test it, we'll deploy it, and then we'll monitor it. Now, if you see this process, we can make it better. So for example, in the testing phase, humans were testing it. Okay, there were humans who were actually testing a system. But what if we could make it automated? What if we could write some code to test our code? Now I know what you're saying. What if there are bugs in the code we just wrote? Don't go there. We're just talking about writing some code to test our code. In short, we are introducing some form of automation here. Similar thing for monitoring. Instead of waiting for a month to figure out that there's a potential bug, what if there was an automated system which could detect this on the first trace of the hack, right? Again, instead of keeping a human who's monitoring it 24/7, what if there was a system, what if there was some software, to monitor our apps? So what we just did here is we are taking the process and we're introducing software. Okay, we're writing some code to make the process better. And this is what I call, we just got the dev writing code in the ops, which is the process. And while writing, our code, we are keeping ops in mind. We just introduced dev and ops, and keeping ops in mind while doing dev. And that is what DevOps is all about. It's not just getting the dev and ops together. It is trying to think of ops from a developer's mindset and trying to automate the work, trying to make the underlying process so elegant, so reliable that you don't really need to worry. There's no push and pull happening anymore. It's just that we trust the process so much that it will take care of us. And like I said, that is exactly what DevOps is all about. In a nutshell, you'll always come across some process. There are processes in everything we do. Me giving you this seminar has a process, right? You logging onto your computer has a process. You logging on to this webinar has a process. Similarly, the software development lifecycle is a process. It's a process with multiple processes. End goal, you need to identify these processes. So you see multiple steps happening. Then what you do is, like what we just did, find loopholes. Like we just saw that the testing was manual. That doesn't seem right. So we need to find loopholes in these processes. Then we introduce some automation, like we introduced automated testing in our case and automated monitoring in our case. So you introduce some software to make the process more robust. And this cycle keeps happening. As a DevOps guy, you're just trying to identify processes, trying to find loopholes in it, and then introducing code and introducing software to make the process more elegant, more reliable, and more reproducible. And that's what DevOps was about. Just to be clear, it seems like the DevOps guys and the developers are both writing a lot of code, which is true. But let's just draw some lines here. A developer writes code for your application. So the Android app or the iOS app or the the softwares which we are talking about, when it comes to making our online system for attendance, that's what developers do. They're using tools like Java, Go, Node.js. They're using databases like Postgres, MongoDB, or whatever fancy databases are out in the market. They are the guys doing that, right? So they're writing code for your apps. On the other hand, DevOps are writing code for processes. They're using tools like Jenkins, like Kubernetes, like Nagios for monitoring, like Docker. There's so many tools. They're using these tools in order to write code for the process, right? So that's the differentiating line between the two. Developers focus on apps, DevOps focus on processes, and that's how it works. And it's a pretty growing market right now. I mean, it is growing really fast. From startups to big multinationals, all are getting into DevOps, and there's a lot of hype train going on right now. And as an entry-level DevOps engineer, you can expect around 5 to 25 lakh per annum. This is in rupees. But again, if you go to an architect level, you can earn way more than that. This is like what we're talking as an entry level. Okay. And similar to developers, even in DevOps, there's some sort of roles. For example, there are junior DevOps engineers, there are senior DevOps engineers, there are engineers who focus on special processes like release management. There are DevOps engineers who focus on special tools and processes around it, like Kubernetes. That's what I do. And based on what stream you pick and what tools you pick, your salary differs. But no matter what you pick, there are companies hungry for you, and that's what I'm trying to say here, right? And that is it. Hopefully, you understood a little bit about DevOps, what it is. Hopefully, you understand, the conflict IT industry is going through of change and stability, and how DevOps is kind of trying to solve it. If you like this content, you can reach out to me on Twitter. I'm your tech bud. And you can even find some YouTube videos I make on such subjects, on Your Tech Bud course. Just search Your Tech Bud, you should find me. And obviously reach out to me on LinkedIn as well if you want to. But that's it from my side. Don't forget to put in your questions, and hopefully after the presentation or seminar, I'll be answering them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lorraine. And it's now over to Mr. Brijesh Kohli for the next part of the presentation. Can you unmute yourself? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Professor Rishi. I think I was unable to unmute myself. All right. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah. So,
Can you hear me, Professor Rishi? I hope
yeah. It's
I'm
all
audible
okay.
and you can see my screen.
Of course.
Perfect. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Brijesh Kohli, and I'm the head of education programs at Zapier. Firstly, I hope you all are safe and healthy wherever you are. I definitely see, a line of hope, going forward, and maybe hopefully soon we should resume back to our normal life, fingers crossed. And then we are all excited to go back to our college, go back to our offices, and obviously live the life, the happy life that we used to earlier. But till then, I wish you all, to stay healthy, maintain good health, and stay safe at home. Firstly, thank you so much for joining in this session. So you've already heard, the tech guy yourself, Nurain, the tech bard. I mean, definitely, technology is his passion, and obviously that passion is taking him to places, and he's actually setting up a lot of those practices within Zapier. So those who don't know about us, I'll just do a quick introduction, and maybe then we can quickly jump onto the content or the context of this discussion. So Zapier is basically a technology company. We're headquartered in Amsterdam, Europe, and then we have our operations globally. So we are a pure play IT consultancy and a software development firm that specializes into digital transformation. So all the latest and new technologies that you hear today, that's the space that we operate as a group. So we work on, various technologies, helping our customers across the globe in adopting these technologies. So globally, we are a team of about 3,500 technology professionals who work on some of the technologies that Nurain just talked about. DevOps is definitely one of them. And there are many others, including technologies like artificial intelligence, data, cloud, full stack, cybersecurity, and then there are many other. So we basically help our customers in implementing these technologies. And as you know that, technology, especially the digital transformation, is actually growing very fast, and pretty much everywhere, whether it is a bank or it is a IT company or it is a manufacturing company, wherever you go, there is disruption by these technologies, and these new digital technologies are really going to be, the default for any organization. I mean, any company that doesn't work or uses these technologies, they won't have an option. I mean, they'll become redundant at some point in time, and this is going to become a by default of, any organization. So I think it's a great opportunity for anybody who wants to get into, the technology space, work with any sector, within the technology practice. These are the areas which I think you should be evaluating while you are undergoing your undergraduate program. And I think it's a great opportunity with universities like lovely professional universities who are bringing in these kind of opportunities for students who actually aspire to become computer science engineers. A little bit about our collaboration with LPU. So we are basically the industry partner with LPU to run the specialized course, which is around cloud engineering and DevOps. DevOps, I think Nuran has already explained, so I won't get into more details there. But if you are quite fascinated about the whole coding, software development, IT operations, software testing, all that, web development, mobile app development, all that. This is the, specialization that you would like to evaluate. And with this specialization, I can tell you that you will definitely get an opportunity to kind of learn, what is the best practices in software development. And there are a lot of emerging concepts that have come in, and these specializations really help you learn those best practices. And obviously, by the end of the day, when you come to the industry, you are absolutely ready. So Zapier will be running the specialization. In fact, the courses will be run by the consultants from Zapier. So we will be doing, I mean, you will be learning from the practitioners who are actually implementing these technologies with our customers globally. And then you also would get an opportunity to get access to, the learning material, the learning content, which is developed by Zebia and obviously Zebians. And these are nicely stitched, ebooks that comes to you in the form of a learning management system. I mean, you'll get an access to a learning portal where you will be getting access to, the ebooks. You'll be getting a lot of video content, plus a lot of labs to basically practice this, and then obviously make yourself ready across these technologies while you undergo through this course. I can tell you that we are very well placed in the DevOps space. Zebia has its own products in DevOps automation called Zebia Labs earlier, which is Excel deploy and Excel release. These are basically deployment and release orchestration tools, which are primarily used when you do the software development. So again, I won't get into the insights, but I'll probably give you maybe a 30,000 feet view of what DevOps is all about. A little bit about the group, so like I said, we work on different technologies, and then we have our operations globally. These are some of the companies that Zebia owns. So we have done a lot of acquisition, recently, and there are many companies that have been acquired, which falls under the Zebia, portfolio. This one, is basically, Zebia Center of Excellence. I mean, within the organization, there are different COEs, which we operate, and these are, some of those COEs. So we have our Agile COE, Agile Center of Excellence, where we talk about all the Agile and Scrum frameworks. We have DevSecOps, which is all about DevOps has now moved into DevSecOps, site reliability, SRE, and all those concepts. So, I mean, technology is moving very fast. I mean, every framework or tool is getting upgraded maybe in 6 months' time, or maybe earlier than that. So the speed at which the technology is moving, we are also trying to keep up with that pace and help our students, especially from our academic alliance program, to really stay aligned to what really the industry is doing. And as a part of this course, you will continuously upgrade through various practices, various frameworks, various tools while you undergo this program. So this journey of next 4 years is going to be very closely close with Zebia and obviously the practitioners for Zebia, who will continuously monitor you, mentor you, to make sure that you are kind of aligned to those best practices. Zebia is also, DevOps, very well goes along with the cloud practices. So as a part of this course, you will be learning a lot about, different cloud providers like AWS, Azure, and obviously Google. And we'll also help you kind of prepare yourself for those certifications, which you could kind of, do along with the course. I mean, Zebia is also, partners with Microsoft and AWS. So we are a AWS implementing as well as training partner. So we can help you do all those trainings and certification as a part of this course. And then obviously there will be regular assessments, monitoring that we will be doing to ensure that you are actually, learning everything and then applying. So the approach is going to be pretty much hands-on. So you'll be actually working on capstone projects, the moment you get into this course, and then you will be actually building up applications. So probably by the end of the course, you might gift yourself some web applications which are actually designed and developed by you guys. So I'll just move a little ahead quickly here, and all right, just a quick of the customers. So we work with pretty much everywhere, and with a lot of customers globally. You talk about any large airlines globally, Zebia is the preferred partner. We work with a lot of banks. We work with a lot of retail companies, manufacturing companies, and it's kind of spread across the industry. Zebia has offices globally, guys. I mean, we have an office in Delhi, Bangalore, Pune. I mean, there are 3 offices in India. We are a team of about 1,600 people in India right now. And as we speak, very interesting, as we speak to you guys, I have a need of about 350 freshers to join Zebia. Now, this is really, what the demand is. It's not just with Zebia. I mean, the whole IT industry is actually starving for good talent. So if you can bring the right skill set, right attitude, and right interest to learn, I think you won't be probably struggling hard to find jobs for yourself. And that's what Zebia also needs. I mean, we're working with LPU, for one of the reasons that we wanted to have people who can actually work on these technologies. So firstly, people who enroll in this course will also get access to join Zebia, because we will be giving first preference to the students who are enrolled in our courses to join Zebia. And how much can or how many can we hire? I mean, I can hire all of them if you have the right potential. Obviously, we won't give you any false commitment that we will hire everybody. We will hire all of them who can actually meet our criteria, and we are not very rigorous on meeting our standards. We want good people. We want people who really want to learn. And trust me, working with Zebia is really fun. I mean, you can go search Zebia on PayScale. You go search on Glassdoor. We're a great place to work, certified company. So all those good things are there, which I definitely give you as an opportunity. And with us, you get an opportunity to work globally. I mean, we keep moving, rotating people to international locations because 70% of our business is outside India. So that's the beauty. I mean, and then people who work with us really travel places. And that's what we wanted to extend to you, that this is one great opportunity for you to kind of, really, cherish or achieve your career goals, and obviously travel international. A quick glimpse about Zebia. I mean, that's a beautiful office in Gurgaon. We have 3 offices in India, which is Delhi, Bangalore, and Pune. We are opening up another office in Hyderabad, and then probably follow it up with Chennai. So that's how we are spread. We are completely agile. So we follow agile practice as an organization. So we don't have gibbons. We don't have barriers. I mean, this is how we step. So you'll probably see a very transparent, very nice culture. Right now, it's all work from home, so you probably won't see anything at least till the end of this year. If the pandemic comes to an end early or probably gives us a sign, we will be opening up. But we are very concerned about the health and well-being of our people, so we wanted to make sure that we kind of give them enough opportunity to stay home. A little bit about why Zebia, and how can we really help you kind of achieve your career goals. So one thing I can tell you, I'm sure you must have seen that with lovely professional universities, there are different specializations, and LPU has kind of bring in some very good industry partners who are kind of helping you guys to learn these technologies, and then obviously give you an opportunity to get placed. So I mean, with Zebia, if you are really excited about software development, web development, really excited about the whole, development, best practices, coding best practices, I think DevOps is going to be the course for you. And obviously, it is very much aligned to cloud. So you kind of, along with this course, you kind of get yourself up to this, on the cloud best practices. And obviously, you can go for cloud certifications, including AWS, Microsoft, or Google. You get direct placement opportunity to work with Zebia and also our clients. So Zebia works with almost like 300 plus customers globally. And a lot of our customers are actually asking for talent across these technologies because there's a huge shortage. I mean, when you go out in the market, you won't find a DevOps engineer. A DevOps engineer will probably do a job of 3 people, which is software development, IT operations, and maybe testing. So, being a DevOps engineer obviously gets you, to kind of expose yourself on those 3, roles. Uh, and obviously, the compensation is quite attractive. Companies like Netflix, Amazon, they are actually offering very high compensation to probably students who get it. And Zebia is going to be one of the dream company for anybody to kind of work in these areas. And we are reasonably very well placed when it comes to compensation. For us also, there is no limit to good people, good talent. I mean, we are even hiring people at very high compensation, provided obviously they are really good. But on an average, for an average student, we are offering good compensation, and that is the agreement we had with LPU as well. So we will be giving you an opportunity, to join Zebia at good compensation, and we are going to get you there. So it's not that you'll have to continuously struggle for it. So if you are really focused and dedicated to kind of learn these practices, then Zebia will actually give you that opportunity. And it's not just Zebia. There are many companies which are partners with Zebia who are kind of hiring and have signed up with us to hire students from these courses. On the other side, you will be mentored, like I said, by the experts from Zebia. You will be given internship and, obviously, on the job training. So we have different practices, including, apprenticeship program, capstone projects, where you will be, having an opportunity to work with Zebia on a real-time project as well. And then, towards the end of the course, you will be getting a digital badge once you clear this program, and that badge could actually help you to go to social media and brand yourself as a certified DevOps engineer, in partnership with the LPU and Zebia. Like I said, on the academic side of it, you get access to a learning management system called Digital Learn with Zebia. I've already talked about internship opportunities. You'll be getting opportunities to work with Zebia. And then obviously there are going to be a lot of hands-on learning involved in this. So most of the time you will see yourself either working on some application, building up an application, or kind of coming up with some new ideas, because that's what we want. We want really people who can think technology rather than people who can actually be verbally very sound on technology. So that's the difference. So we would like you to be really good on implementing these technologies. This is just a quick glimpse of the learning management system that comes your way, which is a little bit on DevOps. Is you start with DevOps overview, then you work on source code management. You can't learn concepts like Linux, build and release, CI/CD, and these are all done through tools. So most of the time, you'll be working on tools, while you are working on this technology. So DevOps is all about automation. So software development, best practices. So the software development world has completely been automated now, with methodologies like DevOps, Agile, and these concepts coming in. So throughout the DevOps lifecycle, you'll be working on different products, different tools. Nurin talked about Kubernetes. That is one of the very promising tool being used. And similarly, there are other tools like Jenkins, Maven, and then there are many others. Almost like 40 plus tools are there, but we'll be focusing on most of the tools that are there in the open source. So Zebia, promotes open source, practices. So we will be, training you or helping you learn the tools that are there in the market being practiced by many companies. So we will not be putting you on a route to kind of learn any specific tools. We want you to be industry ready and work on these technologies anywhere. Wherever you go, you'll probably find some of these tools right there. So like I said, the digital learning management system will be provided to you. Then on the right, you'll probably see a badge, which you'll get towards the end. This is like your e-certificate, which you can put it on LinkedIn, Facebook, everywhere, and you can even apply for jobs through our learning management system. As a part of this course, we will be appointing campus ambassadors. So you'll probably, if you're really, keen to become one of them, obviously there is a process. You'll have to apply for it. If you're shortlisted, then you'll be the campus ambassador, and then campus ambassadors definitely get a lot of advantage. They bypass almost all the hiring process, and they get directly to the interview, the tech interview round, and then obviously. There are many other initiatives that we do, like a hackathon. It's called Xethon. We're doing an annual hackathon now, inter-university kind of a thing. Then we have Campus Ambassador Talk Series, where we give you a platform to talk about various technologies. And Zebia is the platform for you to kind of take it to the world. What do you think about technologies? And then, we have our own newsletter, which is called TechTed, Zebia newsletter, quarterly, newsletter publication that we do. And then we have, lastly, we have Zebia Innovation Labs. So these innovation labs, you're probably, center of excellence, you'll probably see within LPU, where we will be bringing in a lot of problem statements from the industry. I mean, the problems that we face as an industry, and we kind of bring it to the university primarily with an intent to kind of do a lot of research, innovation, to understand and bring in a lot of best practices. And that's where a lot of innovation happens in terms of maybe coming up with new products or new IPs, and that's where we really want to focus on talent from our university, academic alliance partners to kind of do all of that. And that's where we bring you this opportunity to be ambassadors for Xebia and probably be a part of this learning journey. So that you will get. Last slide, why you should take up these courses, because these are contemporary and future ready. I mean, with these courses, specialization, DevOps and automation, you kind of get yourself right there for anybody to hire you as a software development, as maybe a DevOps engineer or a full stack engineer. These are some of these areas which you kind of expose yourself to, and that industry is requiring people who can actually work on these tools, work on those technologies. So if you go to Google on DevOps, you'll probably see yourself the kind of demand that's there in the industry. More or less, I think you can read all of this. I mean, you learn from the practitioners, you get hands-on live projects, and you work on my learning platform called Instruct, which is basically a gamification tool. So this is really what we have for you. I mean, should you decide to enroll in a course like this, Xebia would really be helping you to kind of expose yourself on these technologies. So that's all from my side. Over to you, Professor Rishi. I mean, happy to take any questions.
It was really wonderful and very precise by Mr. Brijesh Kohli. Thank you so much. And we'll quickly move on to Mr. Pankaj Vij for his presentation. Let's talk about money. Let's save some money by telling the scholarship part and the LPU nest and the process. Over to you.
Thank you, Professor Rishi. I hope my screen is visible to all. Okay, great. So, well, insight into the technical part of DevOps, the program as such. So the technical people have explained it beautifully, and even being a novice in this field, I got quite a few takeaways from the session. Anyhow, students, so as Professor Rishi said, let's talk about money, let's talk about eligibility and other aspects of the program. So here I get started. But before I go any further, allow me to share with all of you, allow me to commemorate this thing with all of you, that it's a very glad thing to share with all the attendees that LPU has taken its legacy forward. We have been creating academic leaders, researchers, artists. We have been creating all sorts of intellect. But now we are also creating world-class sportsmen. 10% of the Indian Olympic squad at Tokyo Olympics was made up of LPU students. You name a person like the golden boy, Neeraj Chopra, Bajrang Punia, the Indian hockey team. After 41 years, we won the bronze medal in hockey. 7 of these brave hearts were from LPU. So keeping that glory ahead, we are creating sports person of world-class fame today as well. Moving further, let's talk about the program. I need not go into the nitty-gritties of the program. The technical experts have explained it beautifully well. The name of the program, as was told, is BTech Computer Science and Engineering Cloud-Based DevOps Automation in tie-up with Xebia. The program, obviously, being a BTech program, is a 4-year program and 8 semesters in it. The eligibility criteria is as straightforward as you can see on the screen. 60% marks in aggregate in the 12th standard. The student should have studied physics, maths, and English as compulsory subjects. And on top of that, there's an exam that we conduct at LPU, which is LPU Nest. That's the exam that you have to appear for and clear that exam. And once you do that, you are in for admissions to the said program. Fee and scholarship, once again, an important aspect of the program. We at LPU boast the largest scholarship scheme that we have offered to the students pan-India. Till now, we have distributed some like 500 crores worth of scholarships to our students. 60,000 students in the last 7 years have availed these scholarships, and more than 61% of our students are availing scholarships. Talking about the fee structure, the base fee structure of the program is 1,50,000 per semester, but there are number of scholarships that we are offering on the program, and the scholarships are as follows. If a student scores 80 to 89.99% of marks either in 10th standard or in 12th standard, or is amongst the cutoff 3 of our LP-NEST exam, the student is in for a 20% scholarship, and the fee goes down to 1,20,000 per semester. Moving on, if a student scores 90 to 94.99% of marks in the 10th standard or in 12th standard, or is amongst the LP-NEST cutoff 2 of our test, then there's a 25% scholarship for the student, and the fee goes down to 1,12,500 per semester. Moving on, anybody scoring greater than or equal to 95% marks either in 10th or in 12th, or is amongst the LP-NEST cutoff 1 of our test, there's a 30% scholarship, and the fee goes on to 1,05,000 per semester. It is worth mentioning over here that students, whatever scholarship that has been administered to you shall continue for the next 4 years, 8 semesters. That's the duration of the program. Application process, we understand it's pandemic time, and sitting in the vicinity of your home, you can even appear for the test, which is the LP-NEST test. It's an artificially intelligence-oriented exam, proctored exam of LP-NEST that can be taken at the vicinity of your home. And how to apply for admissions, all you need to do is go to admission.lpu.in. The first step, just sign in. There will be a small form that you have to fill in. You register, and then you fill up the LP-NEST form. The LP-NEST form, after that, you have to book a slot. Book a slot means when exactly you want to appear for the test and what is the time that you want to select. You can do it at a click of a few buttons, and at the vicinity of your home, in the convenience of home, you can appear for the test. Once you clear this test, your path is paved for taking admission, and in step number 4, you can go ahead and take admission. All in all, not more than 5 to 7 minutes worth of a process, and you are admitted. Anybody who's already taken admission in a program and now is motivated to take admission in or move on to this particular program, then the process is as follows. All you need to do, go to your admission dashboard and go to the proceed to the post admission services. Left hand side, you'll see a box over here which I've embarked as a red colored box. It's a program transfer request. You just click it, it will take you to the next step, in which it will ask you the basic qualification on the basis of which you took admission. That would be 12, obviously. And then you select the engineering program. Obviously, it will be the engineering program that you want to move to. Computer science engineering is your specialization, and here would be the whole lot of programs that we are offering. You can select BTech Computer Science and Engineering, cloud-based DevOps automation entirely with Xebia. You select this thing, the request will come to us, and we will proceed to change your program in 2 or 3 days. It will be done. So that's the process. If you want to move from your existing program to this particular program, that's the process. If you want to talk to us, you want to visit us, if you want to write to us, this is a slide which is of prime importance. You can take a screenshot of the same. If you want to visit to us, you can visit us at www.lpu.in. You can always write to us on admissions@lpu.co.in, or you can speak to us on our 1-800 number, 1-800-102-4407. Once again, request all of you to take a screenshot of the same. I guess that's all from my side. I hope it was informative to you, and over to you, Professor Rishi.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pankaj, for being so precise and informative as well. So I see 1 or 2 queries coming to me. One is from Jay Bhatia. I would like to connect Jay Bhatia to the experts. Jay, I see your query. I have given you the necessary rights. I request you to unmute yourself and put in your query. Jay Bhatia, please unmute yourself and put in your query. And I also request all other attendees to please raise your hand in order to be connected to the experts with us. So I have a query of Jay Bhatia with me in the textual form that says, can I take care of software development? Can AI, artificial intelligence, take care of the software development life cycle? And the question is specifically for Mr. Nurain.
Yeah, hi. Actually, that's a good question. Uh, so let's clear out one thing, right? Whenever we talk about software development lifecycle, right? It includes writing code for your application. It includes even testing it. It includes deploying it. It includes monitoring it. Can AI take care of everything? Well, what you're implying there is that there would be no need for any developers slash DevOps guys at all if that happens. So currently the answer is no. Unfortunately, there's a huge demand of people who can do work because there's a lack of such an AI here, right? But yes, the way AI works is they start with smaller problems and then they percolate to bigger problems. So AI is being used in a lot of things. Like monitoring today is being used a lot. Monitoring today is powered a lot by AI. Things like fraud detection. Whenever you're making some kind of credit card swipes, there is AI in most of the banks today, which they use for fraud detection systems. So I wouldn't say the entire software development lifecycle. I would rather say there are small parts where AI can help, right? And a little bit in testing, a little bit in monitoring, a little bit in even deploying. But yes, it's not the entire thing. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much, Nurain. It was really, really very specific one. And next, I do have with me the query coming from Pranav Kumar Thakur. Pranav, if you can hear me, please unmute yourself. I have given you the necessary.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You have a question?
Yes, sir. सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि सर मतलब अभी मैं कंफ्यूज हूँ सर कि जनरल सीएसई लूँ या फिर सर एआई एमएल स्पेशलाइजेशन कोर्स लूँ.
So I think the query can be taken up by Professor Gaurav if it is regarding the program. So can we have Professor Gaurav on screen? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sure. So Pranav, it's all passion driven. The answer to this question is actually passion driven. It all depends upon to which technology you are inclined to. So in case right now you feel that you are pretty much inclined to AI and ML and you want to pursue your career with this, so it is 100% suggested that you pursue your course in that. But in case you still feel that you are not quite clear about the specialization that you want to take, what you can do is you can take a general BTech CSE, and then you'll be having a cushion of approximately 3.5 semesters to decide upon what specialization you can take. So we'll be having, a polling at the end of fourth semester for engineering minors. Then you can decide upon your exact stream of specialization. So that is one part. Second is, in case you want to take specialized CSEs, then there will be no engineering minors as such. So whatever specialized CSE you take, you have to pursue that only. Okay. So the gist is, in case you are a little wavering in mind, go for BTech CSE normal and wait for the third semester or probably fourth semester end when polling will happen for engineering minor. In case you are very specific, then go ahead with the specialized BTech CSE branch. I think that answers the query.
Yes. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Professor Gaurav, for taking up this query. And I hope we have taken up almost all the queries in the form of text or verbal or through the presentations. And I think all the attendees are satisfied with the answers by the experts. And it's now time to say, experts, your years of research and your depth of understanding the topic and your ability to present the topic in such an interesting way produced one of the most wonderful afternoons for all the attendees. And on behalf of all the attendees of this webinar, I want to thank you for your insightful presentation. Hopefully the attendees also found this webinar to be valuable and will be able to utilize the information provided in this webinar to help take a better decision regarding your admissions. I am obliged and once again thankful to all the experts for strengthening this platform. Thank you so much, sir. Stay safe. Take care.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.